I'm sure just about every one of you can recognize that nasal, whiny voice from the band Blink-182, whether it's singing The Voice Inside My Head or All the Small Things. It's as recognizable as your own mother, so to speak, and it's so unique that it's actually been studied by a Stanford linguistics professor. And the man behind that unique voice, Tom DeLonge, is a man who is impossible to define. He's impossible to fit into any one category. He's a musician, a producer, an author, a filmmaker, an actor, an entrepreneur, and as of late, he's a man who's been recognized by the U.S. military for his research with exotic and possibly extraterrestrial materials. And, it all started in a suburban San Diego garage, a career solely built on his grit, determination, perseverance, talent, and the courage to defy and ignore any expectations and opinions others had of him. And so the early years of Tom's career, the mid to late 90s when Blink started getting going, was entirely focused on Blink. And nevertheless, in spite of that, he always had that progressive mindset, never wanting to run in place or get stuck in a rut artistically. And you see this with every album that Blink would put out was a departure from the last. They were displaying greater maturity, they were experimenting sonically, and they were exploring new lyrical concepts. And that mentality of dedication to one's craft and self improvement would stay with Tom in all aspects of his career for years to come. But still, all Tom had known in his career was Blink, and when they broke up in 2004, according to him, the breakup was as painful as a vicious, traumatizing, and emotionally draining divorce. He'd always been defined as that guy from Blink, and he began to doubt himself, question who he was and who he wanted to be. And the band Angels and Airwaves is what rose from those ashes. It's a tangible monument to Tom's perseverance and determination and his dedication to keep his career moving forward. He's always said his goal with this band was to use it as a medium to spread hope, love, and positivity, which I know sounds cheesy, but it's important because this band is what made Tom find himself. This is the point in his career where he decided what he wanted what path he wanted his career to take. And so, with this newfound sense of self-confidence after that breakup in '04, the band put out their debut album in 2006. And in 2007, Tom made his first major career move outside of playing music, and he founded the technology company Mod Life. Now, I'm sure none of you have really heard of Mod Life, but they were a critical player in revolutionizing the music industry at a time when it was kind of collapsing in on itself. And they acted as a blueprint for the growth of platforms like Facebook and Instagram as far as social media on like the music realm was concerned. And, as the years went on, Tom continued to release new material with Angels on Airwaves. They've around 5 or 6 albums, I believe. They scored the 2011 film Love. He released a children's book in 2013, of all things, and went on to write and release 3 more novels, with many more novels in the works. He's been involved in multiple film productions, and that's just a few things that he's been up to. Blink even briefly reunited between '09 and 2015. They released one album and went on a few tours, but uh, Tom ultimately left the band again to pursue something that made most of us believe he'd absolutely lost his mind, and that was to search for UFOs. Yes, UFOs. It seemed so logical to leave one's insanely successful band and pursue UFOs, but again, Tom had always had the courage to ignore what others thought of him to forge his own path and all that. But seriously, many of us thought he'd actually lost his mind. So in 2016, when John Podesta's emails were infamously leaked during Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, I'm sure many of you can remember that, many were surprised to see Tom DeLonge's name in a few emails in there, and the emails confirmed that Tom DeLonge, the man who used to play guitar fully naked in a punk rock band, was emailing John Podesta about matters of national security, and these emails confirmed that he also met with several high-ranking government officials on multiple occasions to discuss, aliens. So, needless to say, we all took him a bit more seriously after that, and in 2017, a year after, Tom officially established aerospace and science divisions in his company To the Stars. These divisions are headed by Steve Justice, the former head of advanced systems at Lockheed Martin, and so, in other words, Steve built fighter jets. And last October, the company entered into a research and development agreement with the U.S. Army, which is focusing on, quote, inertial mass reduction, mechanical and structural metamaterials, electromagnetic metamaterial waveguides, quantum physics, quantum communications, and beamed energy propulsion. I don't know what that means, but that's straight from the U.S. military. And To the Stars has also released what they claim to be UFO footage, which has also been recognized as legitimate footage by the U.S. Navy. I'm not saying I'm a believer, but it's getting harder and harder to argue with what Tom is doing these days. Look into it yourself, I encourage you. And again, Tom DeLonge is many things. He's a musician, an author, a CEO of an aerospace company, and so much more. He's living proof that you don't have to pick out a box for yourself. You don't have to restrict your life to any one thing. You can choose to be the human equivalent of a Swiss Army knife, and you can be the best damn Swiss Army knife ever. Tom built a successful and diverse career around that very philosophy, using nothing more than grit, determination, perseverance, and courage. And that career is only getting closer to the stars, pun intended, with every passing day. Thank you, guys.